Coming up, catastrophic damage in Florida due to Ian, and the hurricane is not finished yet.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. More than 2.6 million people in Florida are without power after Hurricane Ian tore through the state. At least 4 people are dead, though President Biden is warning that this could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history. CBS's Jason Allen is in Fort Myers with the latest, including more on where Ian is headed next.
Rescue crews across central Florida are searching for people trapped by the floodwaters left behind by Hurricane Ian. Paramedics use stretchers to get these nursing home residents in Orlando out of danger.
Because we were going to walk up here, and they said, no, you're not.
Joan and James Farr were taken to safety on an airboat after crews told them it was too treacherous to leave their home on foot.
We will see what goes next. We'd like to come back, but we don't know.
The storm came on shore as a Category 4, one of the strongest to ever hit the U.S. Ian demolished the only road to Sanibel Island.
Sanibel is destruction.
Governor Ron DeSantis called it a 500-year flood event.
Got hit with really biblical storm surge, and it washed away roads, it washed away structures that were not new and could withstand that.
This is what it looks like up and down the coastline. The boat's just thrown up onto the shore by Ian. There are trees down everywhere. Residents tell us that they're looking for things like food and water because the storm washed all of their supplies away.
It's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. But I just wanted to check and see if my place was still intact, to see if we could retrieve any belongings.
What appears to be a small shark or fish could be seen swimming in floodwaters in a Fort Myers neighborhood. President Biden plans to visit both Florida and Puerto Rico when the conditions allow.
Times like this, America comes together. We're going to pull together as one team, as one America.
Ian is now gathering strength as it moves toward Georgia and the Carolinas, where it's expected to make landfall again on Friday. Jason Allen, CBS News, Fort Myers, Florida.
Ian was a tropical storm for much of today, but strengthened back into a Category 1 hurricane around 5 o'clock after moving over the Atlantic Ocean.
And the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center has Ian strengthening again back to 80 miles per hour. Now still a Category 1, but the potential will be there for further strengthening, at least until it makes landfall tomorrow. Here's a look outside around our region right now. We're all quiet this evening. Temperatures low to mid 50s outside with plenty of clear skies. Temperatures around the region starting to fall into the 40s in many spots. Those clouds aren't here yet, but they will be before too long. You see they're already sneaking up on our southwest Virginia counties. Further to the south, there's the latest on Ian, an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane, 185 miles south of Charleston, South Carolina. That's why we have declared a first alert weather day into the day on mainly late tomorrow night into Saturday and Sunday as we watch the potential for what's left of Ian to move into the region and cause water rises on those creeks and streams. I'll have the very latest on the potential coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A group of Kentuckians is preparing to feed thousands of people in the areas hit hard by Hurricane Ian. Kentucky Baptist Relief volunteers just returned from helping people here in eastern Kentucky. Now they are ready to head south. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has those details.
Will all this fit in there that usually does?
Packing up and preparing at a warehouse in Lincoln County.
So we've been scrambling yesterday and today to get food ready to take with us.
I'll bring it to you.
Not long after getting back from eastern Kentucky, crews are preparing to head to Sarasota, Florida, some 13 hours south.
And we've been asked to feed 15 to 20,000 meals a day to begin with. We will be a Red Cross kitchen and set up in that area to provide the meals.
That many meals means they will need more volunteers. Many had just unpacked their bags, but no one is complaining.
But God calls us to this ministry to go bring help, hope, and healing to those who are hurting.
Volunteers just returned from Whitesburg. These trailers returning from that area as well. Workers now are scrambling to get them ready for a trip to Florida, and a trip that could last up to 6 weeks. Some of the volunteers may have lost or been impacted by the flooding.
I know some that are wanting to go, They're just not sure if they're going to go the first week or the second week.
When God burns in your heart a ministry like this, and you see people hurting, he stirs in your heart and gives you the strength and energy to go what he's called us to do.
In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The crew will leave early Sunday morning. They plan to be in Florida for at least several weeks. We talked with an Eastern Kentucky native who chased Hurricane Ian yesterday. He says his goal was to make it to the eye of the hurricane, which is the calm part of the storm. He's now staying to help with search and rescue operations.
Folks need help. We're all human beings. We're all going to need help one day. You know, Eastern Kentucky needed help. Folks came to us, so just feels like we could return the favor somehow, even if it is just one person.
Hall says they saw an RV flipped over and says they checked to see if anyone was inside. He says they do not believe anyone was. 2 months ago, severe flooding throughout our region led to at least 40 deaths and thousands of homes, businesses, churches, and schools damaged or destroyed. Despite the losses, many lives were saved through the efforts of rescue teams and oftentimes just good Samaritans. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more with one family in Floyd County who was rescued during the flood and how they are rebuilding their home and small business.
On July 28th, flooding rocked the Garrett community of Floyd County, but many families were not expecting flooding this severe and were trapped in their homes by the waters.
By 8:30, the water was in our front yard. By 11 o'clock, the water was coming up our steps, and at 11:30, we got rescued.
Yeah.
With a boat came into our yard, picked us up, and took us out of here.
The Hennicamp family were one of many rescued that day. Onus, Deidre, and their 2 daughters made it out alive, but were put in a terrifying situation.
The water just kept coming, and at one point I started praying out loud, and I said, Lord, if we're going to die, let us die quickly together, and if we're going to be saved, let us be saved quickly together, and please, please let the other people be okay.
Now, 2 months after they were rescued, the Hennicamps are rebuilding their home and plan to be back soon.
We'll be back in here by Thanksgiving.
Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Again,
yeah.
Yeah, we will be back by Thanksgiving.
And their small business, Hennicamp Manor Bikes and Books, is still open for same-day repairs.
If you message us on Facebook and you want your bike fixed tomorrow, message me. I'll come down here. I'll set up a time. You wait for me. Repairs are while you wait. Bring it in. I'll fix you. I'll take care of you.
Staying positive despite the damage, and thankful that they are still here to tell their story. In Floyd County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Both Onus and Deidre say they are forever grateful for the men and women who sacrifice so much to be first responders. They say without those rescue teams, so many more lives would have been lost that day. Whitesburg is still recovering from the devastating flood. After 2 months of cleaning up, businesses are slowly opening again. City employee Lee Adams says the area is building back to be as strong as ever.
Mountain people are hard workers, and they take care of their own. And I think that just neighbor helping neighbor and things like that, family helping family, that's how people have overcome and moving on.
Adams says they had to cancel the Mountain Heritage Festival this fall because of cleanup efforts, but they plan to hold Oktoberfest on October 8th. Governor Andy Beshear says Kentucky is getting back millions of dollars from an aluminum company con job. Unity Aluminum, formerly known as Brady Industries, promised in 2017 to build a mill near Ashland. That mill was never built. After years of fighting, the governor announced the $15 million investment is being returned to the state.
This is a better outcome than I ever thought was possible. I want to thank everybody for working on it, and we continue to talk to Steel Dynamics, trying to be a part of their future plans.
The size of the property is about 200 acres. Governor Beshear says it could easily hold multiple projects and expects there to be announcements made on that front. A new program is being implemented at St. Joseph Hospital in London called No One Dies Alone. The The program allows volunteers to come into the hospital to comfort patients on their final days if they do not have family around. John Welsh is a nurse at St. Joseph Hospital, and he found the program a few months back after seeing the need post-pandemic.
The program works by having a volunteer sit with the patient. The patient has to meet some qualifications. They have to be expected to pass within 72 hours of going what's known as comfort or palliative care.
If you would like to volunteer with the hospital and take part in the No One Dies Alone program, you can find a link on WYMT.com. Students at Johnson Central High School now have a new opportunity to learn and grow. App Harvest celebrated the opening of its 10th container farm at the high school today, bringing the Golden Eagles into the world of ag tech. The students are currently growing lettuce, which is served in the school cafeteria, ARH cafeteria, and sold at the farmers market. A hands-on lesson in sustainability, which students say is a great way to learn.
I'm eating what I've worked in, quite literally. I've helped plant and grow everything that's going on in this container. And knowing that means that the future of agriculture has so much room to expand and to continue to grow.
App Harvest representatives say the community support and academic buy-in have been driving factors in helping the business grow. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, the story of an elderly Navy veteran who was rescued from floodwaters caused by Hurricane Ian in Florida.
Plus, continuing to watch the latest on Ian as the remnant low heads our way. The breakdown of heavy rain chances coming up.